Boy, do I have some explaining to do. How's it been, everyone? It's been a few weeks. Some might even say it's been getting close to a month since the last Attack on Titan video. Um, I have one thing to say in response to that. Tales of Arise. I can't lie, I have been very invested in Tales. I finished it now. I'm one trophy off the Platinum. And that's just deepening my bond with Dohalim, so that won't take long. Other than that, I don't know when we'll get back to that series. I do want to do it still. I haven't, like, burnt myself out of the series. I've burnt myself out of the game. I played it a lot. I'll get back to it. So, don't worry. I'll make sure to get back to it. However, we're going to do some other stuff in between because I realized it's been a little bit, and, you know, I do want to grow the channel, so I probably should start uploading a bit more consistently. So, I don't play much Elden Ring anymore, as some of you may know, as evident by the lack of fucking uploads. Doesn't mean it's going anywhere, it just means when but Shadow of the Earth Tree is probably going to put a lot more life into that game for me, so when that comes out you'll probably see a lot more guides from me. However, a game I still do play very consistently is Honkai Star Rail. So I figured, fuck it, I'm going to make guides for it. Now, if you know me, you know I'm very fucking stupid, and I'm not very good with numbers. So you might be wondering, well, how are you going to make guides on a game that is pretty much based around numbers entirely when it comes to damage and what's the best? That's the thing. In this game, we're gonna call me the no numbers guide guy. Because that wasn't cringy enough to say. Anyway, basically what this is going to consist of is me giving what I think is best. Just off my noggin. By off my noggin I mean, you know, what I've seen in the past, people use on these characters, what I know they're used for, and my own, basically, reading comprehension. You're free to go in the comments and tell me what I get wrong. This game has very different opinions. One opinion of mine that I have that no one else really seems to agree with is that Von Whack is shit unless you're doing a zero cycle. Because I don't like sets that only last for the first fucking turn. Personally, that's just me. I understand its use cases. As I said, I think in zero cycles it's one of the best sets you could have. But I think for general play, it's not. It loses a lot of its value. Feel free to rip into me in the comments. I don't really care. That's my opinion on it, right? I'm a very opinionated guide maker, you see. That's just me, though. Also, one other thing. Guide-wise, you might wonder why I don't. I might make other videos for certain characters and maybe the best characters in the game. Now, if you'll notice, the 5 stars end Dr. Ratio there. I am missing the 2 best characters in the whole game. Yeah, I wasn't playing very much during Orion May, and it's not that I didn't wish for Sparkle, it's that I love Jing Yuan. So I went for Jing Yuan because I like Jing Yuan a lot. So yeah, I am missing Orion May and Sparkle. So there is that. I will be wishing on one of their reruns. I'm saving at the moment as I got Luocha, and I don't really who the fuck? Oh, Acheron. I don't really want Acheron. She seems cool, but I got Jing Yuan as my lightning DPS. I got Serval if I want another one. You know what I mean? She's good. Acheron is undoubtedly probably the best DPS in the game, but I just don't care. We'll go through the character list so you can see who I am missing and you can make fun of me, like Danheng ill. Topaz and Numby was a shit fucking decision to skip. That's because my friend said if you get Sealer, I'll pay for your Silver Wolf. I got Sealer. I missed Argenti. Okay, in fairness, I can't really say this because she got rerun pretty quick afterwards, but when Kafka was initially released, the game wasn't out on PlayStation yet. She did get a rerun like a month after that, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. I did miss Black Swan as well, but I don't really do dot characters, so bear that in mind. Now, I will be doing videos on the dot characters I earn, because I genuinely believe Sampo and Luke at least are actually decent without even doing dots. I mean, Sampo's pretty good with dots himself. Luca, I'm going to teach you a way to build him that a lot of other people do build him as, but you might just see him as the bleed guy. I'll teach you how to build Luca at some point. I don't know Japar or Fu Xuan. I have a very abundance character though, so you know, healer-wise, I'm going good. Yeah, so that's the current state of my account, so feel free to not take advice if you don't like the state of this account. Now, I'm gonna reveal a little secret. before we get into it. I know this is going to be a long video and a long intro, but I'm making a new thing here, so I got to kind of extend this, so it's my fault, sorry. You're going to notice that today we are doing a Himeko build, and you're going to notice she's not built. Like, at all. No traces, no nothing. One relic. Now, before you click off and go, this guy's a sham, I'm going to reveal a little secret to you that not many people know about guide makers. Their accounts are not nearly as good as you think they are, right? Because 9 times out of 10, they make a guide for a character on someone else's account, not theirs, someone else's. Now, some of you might not know that, and I'm sorry to have lifted the curtain a little bit on that, but a lot of guide makers, believe it or not, now, I'm not saying all guide makers. From what I can tell, Gotcha Smack's guides are all on his fucking channel, or on his account, right? That's someone that I actually really like. I like his guides, comprehensive. There are 2 guide makers I really like watching, being Gotcha Smack and Braxophone, and I want to try and emulate them in a sense, whether it be Gotcha Smack sort of telling it how it is type thing. Now, I do want to sugarcoat a little bit because I don't want to be a dick, right? But I can respect his tell it how it is thing, so I will tell it how it is every now and again. And I want Braxophone's just general funniness and guides and not really taking it too seriously. So there are styles you can take, right? And those are the 2 styles I sort of want to try and blend into my channel, but we'll figure that out. Look, I'm just trying to be honest with you. I don't want to start making content like, this guy reminds you of this guy. I'm just going to tell you, it's because my style is, I'm trying to make my style a little bit like them, because I think they're guide makers I look up to in a sense. Maybe not look up to in the traditional I want to be like them sense, look up to as in I think they're fucking astounding guide makers and you should go check them out. I think they're the two of the best doing it. Now, Gotcha Smack doesn't only do guides, don't get me wrong. Brax also doesn't always do guides, but I'm not here to advertise fucking channels. I've probably stopped doing that. Anyway, but yeah, from what I can tell, just most guide makers, tell you what, we'll lower it and say some guide makers don't always use their accounts, right? Sure, if it's a character like fucking Tengyun, they might use their account because everyone's got its fucking Tengyun. Right? Or not everyone's got a Tengyun, but you know, most, especially meta players and guide makers, will have Tengyun built because she's that fucking good. Right? Now, is my Tengyun built? Not very well. I went through a period where I just don't have very well built characters, and I'm trying to fix it at the moment. 1 team at a time. And then I'm going to do 1 character at a time, and we'll probably start doing videos when I start doing the 1 character at a time. I'm trying to make my Jingyu team at the moment. Himeko is not on the Jingyu team. I just wanted to do a Himeko guide because I want to start making guides for characters that people don't make guides for anymore. I'm talking characters from back in 1.0 like Asta, who no one's made a guide for in a while. Now, Himeko has been getting guides recently because of Pure Fiction, where I guess we can actually start getting into the guide now. Himeko is a 5-star standard character, meaning that she's less powerful than some of the other 5-star characters in the game. However, one place where she excels is Pure Fiction. Now, does that mean you can only use Himeko on Pure Fiction? No. I've actually seen her perform quite well in MOC. I can't say I have performed well in MOC with her because, once again, she's level 50 and I'm not even at MOC 12 yet. So, you know, we'll ignore the fact that I'm currently Trailblazer rank 67, but that's besides the point. I'm working on it, alright? I fucked around and I found out. And I'm currently fixing the situation I'm in. Anyway, I've seen Himeko perform very well in MSC and exceed in Pure Fiction. So, if you're new to the game and you like the Honkai Impact 3rd character Himeko, and you're like, well, I want to build that character, and you see everyone saying, wow, she's fucking shit. 1, those videos are probably very old. I'm just gonna outright say it. At the beginning of the game, yeah, Himeko wasn't great. I liked her. I know I'm playing the game, but I liked her. I just like watching videos of Himeko, I thought she was cool. And were they right? Kind of. As I said, she wasn't the best. But now, with Pure Fiction, she's actually quite good. Very good. If you can't tell, these videos are unscripted, which always makes my life harder, but that's fine. Anyway. She does follow protects when you break people. Like, you know, you got the toughness bar, you know, you play the game, you know what the toughness bar is. When you get breaks, once you get 3 breaks, I guess I should say, she'll do a follow-up attack. So, as long as you're getting breaks, you're getting follow-up attacks, meaning she excels where there are a lot of enemies, hence the Pure Fiction buff she gets, pretty much, where she does better in Pure Fiction than anywhere else in the game. As I said, you can bring her to other places that are fire weak. We'll get into team comps and stuff later that I like running because of, I've just noticed patterns in MSC and stuff that she seems to excel with and stuff like that. Anyway, as for how to build Himeko, we should probably get into that. Lightcones. I don't have every Lightcone in the game, so we're not going to go here. I don't know why I even tried to open that, thinking, oh, I'm going to every Lightcone. We're going to go to the databank. We're going to be one of them. We're going to be one of them guide makers because I don't have everything. So, obviously, best in slot before dawn. This is basically the best in slot for every erudition character. It is Genuine's Lightcone. I own Genuine's Lightcone, but you're fucked if you get enough Genuine. I'm joking. If I'm not using Genuine, it will get swapped around. Before dawn, obviously, great Lightcone. It increases your crit damage, it increases your skill and ultimate damage, and it'll even increase your follow-up attack damage by quite reasonable margins at S1 alone. S5, it becomes fucking busted. It's already pretty busted at S1, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, even if you don't like Genuine, pull his Lightcone if you use erudition characters, genuinely. I know a lot of people say, oh, don't wish on the Lightcone banner, don't wish on the Lightcone banner. I'm gonna reveal a little secret here. If you like a character, or you're lacking Lightcones and you need a good Lightcone, wish on the Lightcone banner. To my knowledge, it's a 50-50. I've heard 75-25 thrown around. And I'm pretty sure that's normally in favor of the on-banner Lightcone, but like, I've gotten every fucking Lightcone I've wished for, right? That could be luck, and I'm not incentivizing you wish or spend money on things you don't want. I'm just saying, if you're a Himeko man, your damage is lacking with whatever the fuck Lightcone, and you want another Lightcone, before dawn, if you're willing to wish, is a great Lightcone. That's all I'm going to say there. Next best, especially for pure fiction, Night on the Milky Way. For every enemy on the field, the attack will increase by 9% up to 5 stacks. And when an enemy is inflicted with weakness break, the damage dealt by the wearer, not to the wearer, increases by 30% for a turn. So this is another Lightcone you can use. If you have it and not before dawn, this should do fine even in your general stuff, because even as one enemy on field, you're still getting a 9% attack buff being a standard one. S5 isn't quite out of your reach, so you get a 15% attack buff just because there's an enemy on the field, right? Now, I'm going to try and be a bit more relatable here and say you got S1. 9% is still, it's not an amazing amount, but it's still an amount, right? It's still a reasonable amount. Not really, but look, I'm just trying to make you feel better here. Himeko mans, you haven't had it the best over the years. Now that Pure Fiction's out, you're riding a high. But I want to let you know, you can use it in other places other than Pure Fiction. I'm trying to teach you how. I'm sure you Himeko mans have got it. Anyone watching this video is probably just curious from my Elden Ring videos at this point. Either way. Not the Milky Way, great Lightcone for Himeko. Pretty much only Himeko I'd recommend. Oh, maybe Herder, I think. Maybe Herder, but this isn't a Herder video. And I wouldn't recommend that on Himeko over something else anyway. Anyway, Seriousness of Breakfast is your free-to-play option. I'm not even going to go over 3 stars because you can get Seriousness of Breakfast for free at the beginning of the game, I'm pretty sure. You will get one of these for free. You can get multiple of these for free. You can get S5, you can get infinite of these for free because of the MOC store. Seriousness of Breakfast is your next best option. It's always going to be a great option for any erudition character. It's always a good choice. So there's your options. Realistically, I feel those are your options. Because as I said, you get Seriousness of Breakfast for free. You do Seriousness of Breakfast. If you get Night on the Milky Way, you do Night on the Milky Way. And if you're looking for a bit of extra damage to pump out, you're going to get Before Dawn. Unless you're doing Pure Fiction, in which case, not. If you're only using Himeko for Pure Fiction, I just say Night on the Milky Way is probably just best overall, just because you are going to get a lot of attack buffs. Once again, I'm the no numbers guy. Maybe Before Dawn is still better. But if you want to use Before Dawn on someone else, Night on the Milky Way is definitely your next best option, in my opinion. Right? Just off my reading. Look, my reading comprehension ain't the best, so you have to fucking rock with me here. But that's what I believe. Remember, you can make any adjustments you want to your builds. I say this in Elden Ring as well. If you think something else will work better and you find your damage is better with something else, feel free to run it. Same with sets. I personally like having my 4 and 2 pieces going, or my 2-piece, 2-piece, 2 pieces, you know, stuff like that. But if your stats are better with a broken set, go broken set. Honestly, broken set over sets, I'm just stingy about it. That's just me. But I agree. Sets are something you go for when you have the right stats on your sets. 100%. I'm just an idiot. Just remember that. Anyway. I did skip over the kit, but realistically, all you gotta know, attack with your skill, use your ult when you get it, and a follow-up attack will do the rest for you as long as you're breaking things. Which means, Himeko, I would only ever bring to Fire Week things. Or, if you're not going to bring her to Fire Week things, bring her to places and bring breakers. But we'll get to that when we get to the team comp area. Other than that, you don't really need to level a basic attack at all. I'd level her... I just level these three, right? Her skill, her ultimate, and her talent. In what order? Talent first, then ultimate, then skill, in my opinion. That's just me, though. Her technique basically just gives you more fire damage for a couple turns. One of her, I think this is her first bonus ability. After using an attack, there's a 50% a base chance to inflict burn on enemies for a couple turns. When afflicted by burn, enemies take fire DOT with it. So she basically just turns into a DOT character. Not a great one, not a bad one either. Burn is still very helpful because you might find that little bit of damage that comes while on their turn will help you get that cycle, like one more cycle off, you know? Skill deals 20% more damage to enemies who are afflicted with burn, so this has a lot of synergy with this. See what I mean? Your skill will do more damage to enemies that have burn, and this bonus ability will make it so she can inflict burn. See where it goes? So that makes that bonus ability pretty good. And when HP is 80% or higher, crit rate increases by 15%. So basically, that thing they did with Yanqing and said just don't get hit forehead. Basically letting you run 15% less crit rate and just don't fucking die. Pretty much. Just bring a sustain or something, man. Shield or healer, doesn't matter. Depends on the content you're doing and how far you're going to go. If it's against Sam, I'd recommend a healer, just because you're not going to be able to stay over 80% if you're constantly skilling. And I know he has the healing. There are a lot of things that go into the Sam fight, but I'd recommend a healer like Quoquo, but we're not here for that. So overall, her bonus abilities are quite good. Two of them have synergy with each other, and one of them is actually just pretty decent extra crit rate for simply existing over 80% HP. So, there is that. As for relic sets, we're going to go to the data bank. It's not that I don't have sets, it's that I just think it's better to show off relic sets in the data bank. For your 4-piece, I'd recommend Ash Blazing Grand Duke, as you can get all 4 stacks. Now, granted, Grand Duke does only last for 3 turns. So you do need to keep breaking to keep the set going. You need to... because she needs to keep doing follow-up attacks if you want to keep the follow-up attack buff. Because you want to have it the first round, but if you're able to keep going with it, you can. What you can do also is run 2-piece of Grand Duke and 2-piece Firesmith. 2-piece Firesmith will just give you 10% extra fire damage. But as I said, as long as you're able to keep up follow-up attacks, Grand Duke is probably her best set, by far, 100%. As for stats, you probably want a crit rate, crit damage body, depending on whatever you need. Probably crit rate, but you do get an extra 50% crit rate from her bonus ability, so do keep that in mind. So if you have, like, 65% crit rate already, just off substats, and you're like, oh, it's not very hard. I mean, if you have 65% on substats alone, you probably want crit damage body anyway. But let's just say you're debating it. You go, oh, well, I'll have, what, 80% crit rate if I'm above 80% health? So I'll go crit damage body, and I'll increase my crit damage. Shoes, probably speed. If you're not too worried about speed, you can just go attack. But there's only ever, like, one character I see ever talk about the benefit of attack over speed, and that's Jing Yuan. So I'd probably go speed boots on Himeko, personally. Just because speed is very nice. Not even talking about, like, breakpoints and, like, attacking for the 0 cycles and the low cycles. Speed, in general, is just a good stat to have, because then at least you can attack more, heal more, do whatever your character does more, you know what I mean? So I think that's just a good thing to have, especially since she needs to be breaking a lot. So, obviously attacking more will allow Himeko to get more toughness damage off on bosses, especially, where her damage falls off because they have bigger toughness bars. So that's what I'd do for that. I don't know if you can run 4-piece Quantum. I really don't care about 4-piece Quantum on a character that's not Quantum. I get it's a great set, but I'm not going to go over it because I personally don't believe in it. As stupid as it sounds. Planar ornaments. Now, is it just me, or are we always missing 2? Because I swear I farmed every world. I swear I farmed every world, and there's still 2 missing. I don't know where the hell they came from. Anyway, best slot, in my opinion, is Inert's El Soto. It increases your crit rate by 8%, and when you have 50% or more crit rate, your ultimate and follow-up attack damage increases by 50%. A lot of her damage comes from her follow-ups, and a good amount of it can come from her ultimate. So, in my opinion, Inert's El Soto, by far her best planar ornament set. Other things you can run. Fucking, what's that one set, Penacony, everyone likes? No, not Penacony. I'm wrong. In fact, I think it might actually be a set I don't have for some reason. Maybe I haven't gotten the other set. It's the one that, with the speed, you know, you get increased speed. Am I really gonna have to cut this bit out and just head to the fucking sim universe because I don't know the name of the set because it's not showing up? Am I really never gotten that set before? Alright, boys, technical difficulties, I guess. Alright, welcome back. It's from that frontline Glamoth. I guess I've never gotten a piece of it because I sure as shit didn't see it there. But, it increases your attack by 12% when the word speed is equal to 135 to 160. The word deals 12 to 18% more damage. Overall, it's a great set. I personally don't like it because if you want the max one, you need a fuckload of speed. And for the average player, 165 just isn't very achievable on every character, especially if you don't want to sacrifice crit damage. Granted, 12% extra attack, ball damage is pretty good, but I just prefer a no Salsodo personally. However, that is another thing you can do. Glamoth is a very good set, and maybe I'm underestimating just how much 12% extra damage actually is. Because 135 speed is a pretty good point to say, alright, that's enough speed. So, if that is good, let me know. I don't know, actually, I actually am very bad with numbers, as I said. So is 12% more damage actually, better than the Salsodo's extra follow-up and ultimate damage? I don't think so. Personally, but it is all your damage at 12%, and inert is, what, just 50% for just 2 of it? So, I don't know. I think inert's better. I know it's fucking shit when you hear guide makers say, I don't know. As I said, I'm just trying to be honest and give my opinions, and I do want to get out there what other people think as well, just so you're not sitting there with your dick in your hand. Pretty much. Thinking, oh, well, this content creator said this, I wonder why he didn't even mention it. You know, I don't want to get those comments. That's another of shit. I'm also new to this creation style, so give me a minute to get used to it. Other than that, oh, well, substats on these, I should probably mention, huh? Fire damage boost is pretty obvious. She does fire damage. Fire boost on the fire character. And I'd go attack percent on the rope. She doesn't need ER. You're mainly focusing on damage. So, attack percent on the rope makes sense to increase your attack more. As for your substats on your artifacts, you want crit damage most of all, attack, and then speed. So realistically, on your hat and your, well, not your hat. Are they hat? No. What are they? Yeah, on your hat and on your hat and your hands, you ideally want those 4 stats. Crit damage, attack, percent, and speed. Don't need to go for perfects, that's just kind of what you can go for. Other than that, you don't really need much else. As for team comp, so you can ignore the name of the team, I'm just using my general team setup here. Being a main DPS, she will always need a sustain of some kind. Probably better if I need the data bank for this. She'll always need a sustain of some kind, so the Witcher, Bailu, Wowo, all great choices for healers. If you're a bit strapped, Natasha's, I personally still like Natasha. Gallagher, if you want to do even more breaks, Gallagher does base himself off break effect, so it could be good to bring a Gallagher for some extra fire. And I personally wouldn't recommend Lynx, as Lynx is only very good with destruction characters such as Clara to up aggro, because Lynx's solo sustain does fall off quite a bit towards later parts of the game. I'm also just a bit of a Lynx hater. I'll run Lynx and I'll build Lynx when I get Clara, but until such time as I get Clara or Blade, I'm not building Clara. Not Clara, I'm not building Lynx. Overall, I'd probably recommend Gallagher. Wowo is probably my next recommendation. Then Luocha, then Bailu, then Nat, then Lynx. That's the order. I know, right? Top 1's Gallagher is a bit strange. I just think he meshes with Himeko quite well due to him having break effect as his main thing, so you're going for breaks, meaning you're going to get breaks. If you want preservation, Fire MC is actually quite good at breaking things. As a sustain, not so much, but if you want to bring him as a sub DPS, he actually will do just fine if you're doing a mono pyro sort of comp. Other than that, Fushuan is genuinely just fucking an easy button. Japard will do his job, and then March is just fine. In terms of nihility, this is fully dependent on what the enemy is weak to. If they are weak to fire, wind, Sampo. If they are weak to fire, ice. Well, we're going to get into what happens if they're fire ice weak. But you can bring Pela. If they're fire physical weak, bring Luca. Luca is an exceptional breaker. If they're only fire weak, fuck it, bring Godiphon. You know what I mean? It depends on what they're weak to an extent. Weaknesses are the most important thing for a Natasha to have, basically. Natasha? Fucking Natasha. Himeko. Have I been saying Natasha for this whole time? If I watch this back, I'm going to re-record it if I've been saying Natasha this whole time. That's embarrassing. Himeko. The most important thing for Himeko players is the weakness. If they're not fire weak, probably don't even bother bringing Himeko. Realistically. She can work as a sub DPS in that sense, but if you want to build her as a main DPS or bring her as a main DPS, bring her to the fire weak side. If they're not fire weak, just say fuck it and bring Silverwolf, I guess, then. If they're still quantum weak, just bring Silverwolf then. Because then, if you're bringing Gallagher as well, that's a 50% chance, I believe, to put a pyro weakness on the enemy. As for your buffers, Himeko doesn't actually need to go all that often, realistically. Actually, probably the less she goes, the better, in a weird sense, for the Trailblaze set. I mean, yeah, the more she goes, the more she can break, right? But if they're like fire weak, and you're bringing Gallagher or even Asta, you might need to worry about her actually doing turns. So Bronya and Sparkle, as much as they will increase their crit damage and are probably still very good teammates for it and are just very universally good, I'd actually value characters like Asta and Tingyan over Bronya and Sparkle. Personally, remember my opinions. Ranmei is going to be a great support no matter who the fuck you run her with. You are breaking, and she gives extra break effect and shit, so do with that as you please. Hanya is a fine option. She'll do her job overall, but I don't think she'll exactly give you the results you want. Yukong can be very finicky to play with, and I wouldn't recommend her for Himeko in general, personally. Overall, I think I'd recommend characters like Tingyan, Asta, Bronya, Sparkle, and above all else, if you have her, Ranmei, just because she's fucking busted and she will increase your damage by a fuckload. I don't have her, and even I know that. Erudition characters. This is where we bring in the sub-DPSs. Once again, this is pretty much based purely on what they're weak to. However, there are only two characters in Erudition I would recommend based on weaknesses. Herda and Serval. I personally love the Himeko Herda team. It is a very popular team in pure fiction. So if you see an enemy is Fire Ice weak, bring these two. Fire Electric weak, bring Serval. Just because I personally believe Serval is also quite good at her job, but we'll get into a Serval build at some other point. As for their characters, Jingyuan, QQ, and Argenti are all... they're all DPSs. And they're gonna be fighting your Himeko for damage and stuff. So overall, these two are good sub-DPSs. Hell, they're good main DPSs as well if you use them that way. But for Himeko specifically, these two will do just fine. In terms of Hunt and Destruction, probably don't need to worry about it. Except for one character in Hunt, I will say Topaz and Nummi are very good. If you're looking to use Topaz and Nummi with Himeko, by all means, you could build a mono pyro team if you really wanted to. If they're fire weak, just say fuck it, we ball. You got your Topaz and Nummi, you got your Himeko as the main DPS, you got your Asta support, and you got your Gallagher sustain. You could just go in with fire weaknesses, which is actually a team I might do if I ever get Topaz and Nummi, just for the fun of it, because I think mono teams are fun. You could even bum Asta off and throw Silverwolf in if you want to force it, you know what I mean? You can have some fun with it. That's what I like about this game. You can have fun with teams. You can just fuck around, because realistically, if you're at that point in MOC 12 and you're just clearing it, you might as well just start having fun with it, you know what I mean? See what you can do with it. But those are my character recommendations. I pretty much want to have every character. I'm obviously not going to go through fucking Destruction characters, because if you're using fucking Shui Yi with fucking Himeko, then there's probably something. I mean, granted, Shui Yi is a breaker. I can see an argument for Shui Yi, but you're probably not going to get as much out of her. So if they're quite weak, maybe Shui Yi. You know, you never know. That's the thing with Himeko. She is a bit of a sub-DPS, isn't she? She's a main DPS and a sub-DPS in a sense. She can do a lot of damage, she can definitely pull it out, but she's quite good at also sub-DPSing. So that is another role to take into account. Hell, if you want to build it with Hook, feel free at this point, honestly. Fuck, maybe build it with every character, just because of the way she works with breaking. As long as you're breaking a character that is breaking shields consistently, Himeko will always be doing some form of damage. I focused a lot on main DPS Himeko, but one thing we can also talk about is sub-DPS Himeko, and then all of a sudden, all these DPS options open up. If they're Lightning weak, Jingyuan. Physical weak, bring Argenti. Quantum weak, bring like Shui Yi or Sealer. fucking Imaginary Week, bring Ratio or Dill. Like, you know, options upon options open up with sub DPS Himeko, just because as long as they're weak to the element you're using, and you don't want her to be the main focus of damage, you just want her to throw in some follow-up attacks like a sub DPS, because dual DPS teams are getting very popular nowadays. Your options open up based purely on what the enemies are weak to, and that's where I think Himeko shines. Himeko is not exclusively limited to her own teams and stuff like that. She can go into any team realistically. Now, granted, will Jing Yuan, for instance, benefit more from having Bronya, Sparkle, Ruan Mei, like a good sustain like Waffle on his team over a Himeko sub DPS? Yes, he will. But you can also bring Himeko for some extra damage, and you'll probably be clearing it just as well. You don't need all these characters to do well. So if you love Himeko, and you love fucking Jing Liu just as much, put them on a team together against Fire Ice Weak enemies, or just Ice Weak enemies, because once again, she doesn't need to be the one breaking. Ally breaking can also get Himeko's talent to proc. I'll even read through it with you. When enemy is inflicted with weakness break, Himeko gains 1 charge, max of 3. When fully charged, she'll do a follow-up attack. Meaning all Himeko needs is for enemies to be broken. Once you have that, the path kind of clears its way. So that's where Himeko opens up as a sub DPS. And that, I believe, is where I'm supposed to leave the video. What we've gone over. Oh, we can go over eidolons, I suppose. She's a standard character, so you can expect to get at least 1 or 2 of these over time. After Victory Rush, that is her follow-up attack, is triggered, her speed will increase by 20% for new turns, meaning you can build even less speed if you want. You deal 15% more damage to enemies whose HP percentages. So she basically turns into a fucking herder with this constellation. So not bad. Her E4. When Himeko's skill inflicts weakness break on an enemy, she gains an extra point of charge. So basically this makes it so she's even more of a DPS. And you need even more speed and stuff like that. Incentivizes her breaking over anyone else. Because then she's getting more than 1 stack. So maybe 4? That's when you start like pumping supports and resources into her, instead of just having her as a sub DPS who also can break stuff, right? So E4 is a great constellation, actually. I really like that one. Ultimate damage. Ultimate deals damage 2 extra times, each of which deals 5 damage. So basically, it's just more damage on her ult. Nothing else to really say on it. She just does more damage with her ult, so that's pretty good as well. I like dedication. I think it's quite good. Being able to gain an extra charge, which means she's breaking, which means she's follow-up attacking more, which just means more damage over time. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Overall, though, that's Himeko. We've covered relics and stats, we've covered Lightcones, we've covered traces. Overall, mini review on Himeko. I think she's fun. Despite not even having her like level to stuff, I do bring her into like normal open world stuff just for the fun of it, and I have fun with her. I genuinely think she is a great character, and doesn't only need to be used in pure fiction. That being said, if you like this guide, as long as it was, I might need to add timestamps. Then give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. I want to do more Honkai guides. I normally do Elden Ring videos. Those aren't going anywhere, I promise. I cover anime stuff, or I want to cover anime stuff. I have videos on My Hero Ultra Rumble on the channel, so I try and be a bit more variety-based. So, if you like that kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe. Other than that, feel free to leave any opinions you have in the comments. I'm always open to hearing new things about Honkai Star Rail, and I want to hear your opinions and things I could improve on. Being a new content star, I will need to get used to it. Apologies. I will need to get used to it. And just like how to present it and stuff like that. But I think we'll leave you there. That was Himeko. And I'll see you later. Yeah, I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.